Please stay standing as we share the peace with one another. There are formal words which will be on the screen behind us, but if you're familiar with, and you should be familiar with them, but because it's an all age service, the kids have got a special one where they walk up and shout peace and fist pumps, so we might want to do that today. Let's share the peace together. The peace of the Lord be always with you.
Good morning, everybody. Just for those of you who maybe don't know me, I am Amy, and I run the kids' church here at Knocknagooney, and I'm going to be taking you through part of what we've been doing as a series in kids' church. But first of all, before I get into any details, I want to just double check, do you have access to a sheet of paper? There should be sheets of paper about, yeah? And there should be pens scattered throughout. Don't know where they all are, so if you can't find a pen, do a bit of a search, or you maybe have one in a bag with you. And for those watching at home, if you have an A4 sheet of paper and a pen, you might want to grab those, and then you can join in later in the service. I'll explain what they're for. You don't need them right now. Okay, so since Christmas in kids' church, we have been journeying through the life of Jesus. Very important character in the Bible for us to discuss. And we've looked at the visiting of the wise men and how Mary, Joseph, and Jesus had to flee to Egypt. The time Jesus was at the temple as a boy, so when he was a child and he ended up lost and his parents couldn't find him, and he was actually at the temple. The baptism, so his baptism, where his cousin John the Baptist baptized him. Then he was tempted in the wilderness. Jesus calling his disciples, and Jesus healing people. And specifically last week, those of you who were here last week will have heard me discuss this during the end of the service, where Jesus healed the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years, and also Jairus' daughter, who he actually raised from the dead. So this week, we have reached the time where Jesus calmed the storm, which is kind of appropriate given the weather outside. One of those things where I woke up and I was like, oh no, it's stormy. I was like, oh, actually, it's stormy. This works quite nicely. So yes, before we go any further, I would like us to have the Bible reading. So Neve, can you come up and do the reading for us?
As evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's cross to the other side of the lake." So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up, shouting, "Teacher, "Don't you care that we're going to drown?" When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the wind stopped and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. "Who is this man?" they asked each other. "Even the wind and waves obey him."
Thank you, Neve. Let's give her a round of applause. It'd be quite scary coming up to the front. So that particular passage was taken from Mark chapter 4, verses 35 to 41, which I forgot to say at the beginning, and it is in the Pew Bibles on page 1006. But this story is also referenced in Matthew chapter 8, verses 23 to 27, and Luke chapter 8, verses 22 to 25. So it's one that is told a few different times throughout the Bible. Next up on our agenda is actually a game. So I'm going to bring Lucy up, and she's going to tell us what we need to do.
Okay, so we're going to play a game, so if everyone wants to get up on their feet. Okay, so this is a pretty easy game. It's called Heads or Tails, but I don't have a coin, so I'm using an app on my phone. So I'm going to flip the coin, and you're going to decide whether it's going to land on heads or tails. So you pick which one. So lock in your answer, heads or tails. So then we're going to flip the coin. Sorry, it takes a while. Okay, landed on heads, so if you pick tails, then you have to sit down. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, but that can be our practice round, so everyone stand back up. Okay, so if everyone wants to lock in their answer, heads or tails? It's heads again. Yeah, so if you, sit down. Okay, so lock in your answer again, heads or tails? Apparently tails never fails, but it does, so that doesn't work. It's actually tails. So, yeah, if you had heads, then sit down. Okay, lock in your answer again. Heads or tails? Tails again. Ooh. Should we get our last remaining people to come up to the front? Yeah, come up to the front. Come on up, Polly. Okay, so lock in your answer, heads or tails? Ooh, tap it. It's tails. You win. Wait, Freddie.
We win.
We'll do one more round. Okay. Lock it in. So, no, you need to do different ones. Oh. Yeah. Okay, tap it. Oh. Sorry, technical difficulties. Ooh. It's tails. Okay. You win. We don't have a prize. Sorry.
Well done, everybody, and thank you to Lucy and Lena for leading our game so well. I think next up we have a song. Would that be right? So, kids, if you want to come up to the front, do the actions. So, you just move across here, spread out so everyone can see you. If you can stand, please stand and join in with the action. Sorry, that was very close. If you can stand, please stand and join in. beautiful fade to the end of that song there. Brilliant. Can you just go to the next slide and just remind me what's next up, please? As paper scatters everywhere, it's fine. So I think next up is probably the Bible story video. Yeah? So if we all sit and listen carefully, we're going to watch a video of our Bible story.
Disciples decided to cross the Sea of... One evening, Jesus and his disciples decided to cross the Sea of Galilee. But after they left, a big storm rose up. Waves came over the sides of the boat, and the boat started to fill with water. The disciples were terrified, but when they looked around, they couldn't find Jesus anywhere. They ran to the back of the boat and found Jesus there, asleep. The disciples woke Jesus up and said, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" But when Jesus saw the wind and the waves, he wasn't afraid. Instead, he said, "Silence, be still." And at that moment, the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Everything was at peace. The disciples were amazed and asked, "Who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey him." The wind and the waves obey Jesus because he is the Son of God. He has control over everything. All of us experience times in our lives that feel like storms, when we're scared or stressed out or feel like everything is out of control. But no matter what, Jesus is still in control. No matter what hard times we face, we can trust him to bring peace.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm just going to pray before I sort of delve into our story for today. And this is something we do in Kids Church, so I want to see everyone's right hand in the air, wave. Come on, everyone join in. And everyone's left hand in the air, wave. And then on the count of three, I want to hear the biggest clap that we can make. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then we always do down past your eyes, close your eyes. Down past your mouth, close your mouth, and tuck your hands under your chin. Father, we just thank you for a Sunday morning to learn more about you. And I pray that you will be speaking to each one of us as we learn more about Jesus calming the storm and how it applies to our lives now. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so hopefully you've all listened and watched carefully to both our Bible reading and the video. And I'm now going to pick out some key words and phrases that really felt significant to me as I was preparing for this morning. So the first one is fierce storm. Now, can anyone remember Storm Eowyn that was a few weeks ago? Hands up if you remember that storm. Now, for me, that's the fiercest storm that I've ever seen. I have never seen a red weather warning in my life until then, and it was a fierce storm. And we were all told, stay at home, do not leave your house unless you absolutely have to until the storm passes. So, fierce storm, that's what I associate with. So it wasn't just like a wee chill, like some wind, some rain. It was a fierce storm. Next up, the disciples woke him, which obviously it does say as well, Jesus was sleeping, but to the point that he fell so fast asleep that even the storm didn't wake him up. Now, I often say I could fall asleep anywhere, but actually staying asleep on a boat in the middle of a fierce storm is seriously impressive. The video also mentions how Jesus has control over everything because he is, after all, the Son of God. The disciples must have felt very out of control. I know I would have felt very out of control in that moment, in the middle of the storm. And they knew, even though they felt out of control, they knew who had the control. So that's why they woke him up. So kind of a couple of points from that. The fact that they had to wake him up because he was still asleep, but also the fact that they chose to wake him up because they knew he was the one with the control. Okay, next up we have the word suddenly. This one really speaks to me because this is used whenever they're talking about, like, he spoke and said calm, silence, whatever the phrasing exactly is, I can't remember off the top of my head. But he silenced the storm, calmed the storm, and it didn't then take like a few minutes, a few hours. It was suddenly. It happened instantly. And that just really, like, sort of jars in my head of like, wow, it was immediate. They didn't have to wait. It was sudden. Next up, we have the phrasing of, why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? And this is what Jesus asked the disciples after he'd calmed the storm. So at this point, we've discussed how, like in Kids Church, we've been journeying through Jesus' life. So we know the miracles that they would have already seen. They were his disciples. They spent all their time with him, learning from him. So they would have witnessed Jesus healing the paralyzed man, casting out a demon, healing a man with leprosy, and many other healings. Yet, when it came to the storm, they were filled with fear. Just a really interesting question that God or Jesus asked them. Do you still have no faith? And then the next one, who is this man? And this was the question that the disciples then asked. Again, they're his disciples. They knew who he was. Yet they still ask the question, who is this man? Who is this person? And do we still ask ourselves that question sometimes? So I want you to have a think. What storms do you have in your life? Do you feel like Jesus is asleep in the midst? Are you wondering maybe, when is he going to wake up and take charge? When is he going to save you? So I have three main words to sort of like sum up this morning. And the first one, which is going to appear on the screen, is timing. So Jesus may have seemed too relaxed, too chilled out in this story, but let's just remind ourselves, who is this man? He is God's son, and he knows that there is more to the story. We may sometimes feel that the slowness to respond is a lack of care, but we see time and time again throughout the Bible that it's not a lack of care from God. Often, what seems like a slow response is actually making a way for a bigger act of God, a bigger miracle that tells of the power and goodness of God. It's his timing, not ours. And like we saw in this particular case, whilst the time he took to respond felt slow, the miracle itself was immediate. The timing often showcases God's true, this brings us to the second word, power. So timing and now power. And the timing showcases God's true power quite often. If the storm had been stopped before it began, the disciples wouldn't have seen Jesus perform the miracle of calming it. Last week in Kids Church, as I said, we were looking at the story of Jesus healing the woman who'd been bleeding for 12 years and also healing Jairus' daughter by raising her from the dead. And the woman was healed immediately. Again, whenever I read through that, the word immediately really stuck in my head. While Jesus was then talking with her, someone came to let Jairus know that his daughter had died. But Jesus knew that he had time. When he arrived, he told her to wake up, and she, again, the word immediately is used, she immediately woke up. To those around Jesus, they must have felt so frustrated that he had stopped to talk whenever a really ill young girl was waiting for his healing. But Jesus knew what God's power could do. He knew he had time. Next up, we have the word faith. And it says in Hebrews 11, verse 1, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. At its very core, faith is based on hope and the unseen. And what can we often see in life? We can see the storms. This morning we can see all of the rain and everything that's moving with the wind. The storms, how bad things can look like they are, and the hurt and the pain and the suffering, quite often those are the things we see, and quite often that's what we focus on. But often, what can we not see? We often can't see the work that God is doing behind the scenes. And in Romans 8, verse 28, it says, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. God doesn't promise that following him will be easy, but he promises life everlasting in him. And in Romans 10, verse 13, it says, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And it goes on to say in verses 14 and 15, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. So, in response to this story, this is where the paper is going to come in. I want each of you to take some time now and think of a storm in your life, perhaps, or maybe in the life of someone that you know, or maybe, as we just were thinking about in Romans, where it talks about people being sent to share the good news, maybe there's someone that God's putting on your heart that you need to be sharing the good news of Jesus with. So have a think about what it is you want to write your prayer about, but I want you to each write a prayer on the sheets of paper, the coloured paper that are about. And if you need a pen, just stick your hand up and I'll send one of the children or somebody nearby with a pen to you. And while you write, we're going to have a song playing in the background, which is called Jesus Calms the Storm. It's by the Gettys. And then after that, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with our prayers. So we're not just writing a prayer and that's it. We're going to do something with the prayers after. But don't worry, you don't have to share it with anybody. So your prayer can be as honest as you need it to be, as whatever God is laying on your heart. Just write it all out on that sheet of paper. Yeah, is everything clear? Brilliant. Right, before we play the song, I'm just going to pray for our time as we write our prayers and respond to what Jesus has been speaking to each of us through this story. So, Father, I just thank you that you do calm the storms in our lives. And I thank you that you also send us to share your good news with those around us. And I pray that you would be laying sort of stories of storms in our lives or those around us, or names of people that we need to be reaching out to share the gospel with. And I pray that you would help each one of us as we write our prayers now. Amen.
When my heart is filled with fear,
Jesus calms the storm. Jesus calms the storm.
Hopefully you've all had some time to write a prayer. Now, I did say writing the prayer isn't all we're doing with a sheet of paper. So next up, we have a video on how to make a boat from your sheet of paper. So obviously we're looking at Jesus calming the storm. So now, as a reminder of that story, we're going to turn our prayers into boats, and then you can take them away with you as just a sort of a visual reminder that Jesus does calm the storms in our lives. I actually haven't practiced this, so I'm not going to try and do it up at the front. So if we could just watch the video, and then after the video, we have another song. So if we could watch the video carefully, and we can go over it later at the end of the service if you need more time. But yes, if you can play the video, thanks. Did anyone actually manage to achieve one in that time? Christine, well done. Round of applause for Christine. I was going to steal this and pretend, oh, well done, we've got another one down here. Well done. I was going to pretend like I did this one. It's not actually me. Michael had done this one. So Michael's going to do a live tutorial with us at a slower speed. Round of applause for Michael.
Right, how far did we generally get? Right, did we get to the sort of hat-looking stage? Right, okay. Okay, sheet of paper, fold it in half. Not, yeah, so it's short and stubby, not long. No, fold it the other way, the other half. Yeah, good, okay. We're going to take the folded side from the crease. We're going to fold two triangles down to the middle. So we're going to make a crease. We're going to fold that in half again to make a guiding line. Open it up again so you've got a little mark there. So you're going to fold two triangles like that. So fold your triangles. From the crease side, yes. Hold, yes. Hold it up if you want affirmation. Yes. Good. Yes. Lovely. Okay, so you should have something like this. Lovely. So what you're going to do, you're going to take basically this flap down at the bottom and fold it up like so. Okay. You want to do it too. I'll give you this one, shall I? Yeah, okay. And you're gonna mirror the same on this side. should get something that does resemble a paper hat. Yep, Jude's got it. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so you can actually wear this as a hat if you want. You can stop there. Great, okay. So now what you're going to do, you're going to put your hand in the middle. And, right? Oh, sorry, Lena. Did everybody see that? Yeah. So you got your hat, hand in the middle, squish. So you've got something that looks like this. So you tuck the sides in. Lovely. We're looking good. This should be a full-time job for me, I think. Thank you, Fiona. Yeah. Good. Okay. So you got it. You're going to take again. So separate this in half, and you're going to turn this into a triangle. Does that make sense there? So what I've done from this, I've gone triangle up like that. Yes, perfect. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. Folding that up to a triangle. So you'd have something that looks like this. Lovely, looking good. Yeah. Again, you're going to put your hand inside. You're going to find the little opening down the bottom. And then, yeah. So you're going from your folded triangles. Okay, fold it up. Find the little pocket inside. And you're going to, like that. Okay. Then you should have, if you pinch the top, pull those apart. Amy's got a boat. Good job. Jude's got a boat. Try it again. Right. So you pinch the top. You've got these two. You should feel those things. That's the tips of your boat. No, Fiona, you need to find the pocket inside. Yeah. How do you describe this? Pinch it here. Yeah. And then squish. Yeah. And then you should feel the top. And then pull apart. Boats. Got a few boats. Excellent. Well done, everybody. There you go. What about?
Have we all got boats now? Woohoo! Thank you very much, Michael. That was a lot easier to follow. Okay, so if you're able, can you please stand? And we're going to go into our second kids song. So kids, can you come up and do the actions? It's ask, seek, knock.
knock, 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 God opens up the door.
Wow. Thank you, Amy. Thank you to the kids. But I think the real star of the show was Michael today. So thank you, Michael. It was brilliant. It's great to see the kids just on stage and enjoying themselves and praising God. So thank you. We've got a few announcements. The first one is next Sunday. We have Keith Gardner from this diocese, and he's going to be our guest speaker. And then on Wednesday, the 5th of March, is our next warm space. So come along for tea, coffee, scones, chat, and a bit of crack. But also, if you can remember to invite people along as well, it'd be great if you know somebody who could benefit from that and just get them along to that space, which is very beneficial. So it'd be good if we could do that. If you're able, can you please stand as we sing our closing song, as Jude sprints to the keyboard, the Splendor King. Let's worship together.
Clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice.
to join us for a cup of tea or coffee and a chat after the service, let's join with the words of the dismissal which are on the screen. Grant, O Lord, that as we leave this house, we may not leave your presence. Be ever near us and keep us close to you now and forever. Amen. The blessing. The Lord be with you. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.